Hi everyone, it's Aaron and Patrick here from A&P Adventures. We're excited to show you a little bit of the Upper West Side today.
It is a beautiful day in New York City. It's about 14 degrees Celsius, 57 degrees Fahrenheit. The skies are blue, the sun is shining, and we're excited to show you off a little bit of New York City. Hi, thanks so much. Thank you. Upper West Side are enjoying our gimbal. Let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why not? So we are starting here at Broadway first, and you're getting a little glimpse of some of the terrific apartment buildings up here. It's more of a residential area, but we're going to give you a little bit of history and about some of the buildings and show off a lot of our favorite little areas as we walk around the Upper West Side. This is Keith's 81st Street Theater. I know what you're thinking, it's a Staples. Well, it's a Staples now, but it used to be an old theater, opened June 1st, 1916, designed by Thomas Lamb. It was a vaudeville house, part of the Keith Orpheum circuit. James Cagney actually made his acting debut here. It became a movie theater over time, closed in late December 1953 with Richard Burton in The Robe. And in 1954 it became a CBS television studio. Love Sydney filmed here. Sesame Street even shot here for a bit of a time. The former theater was actually demolished in 1986, except for the facade, to make way for that apartment building you're seeing creeping above that area there, a 21-story high-rise apartment building.
It's an old theater, but it's a Staples. I love the idea of like stopping by and grabbing a ream of paper, and you can see a movie at the same time.
Why not?
See a
two for one.
Your business supplies and a show.
Dare I say, it's a staple of the Upper West Side. All right, so a little bit about, we get some ambiance here. We have a gentleman playing the saxophone.
Perfect spring day.
Yeah, the Upper West Side is bounded on the east by Central Park, the Hudson River on the west, 59th Street to the south, and 110th Street to the north. It's adjacent to the neighborhoods of Hell's Kitchen to the south and Columbus Circle kind of to the southeast, Morningside Heights to the north. And as I said earlier, it is primarily a residential area. Many of the residents in this area work in the commercial areas of Manhattan, Midtown, Lower Manhattan. But it's still a vibrant area of cultural and intellectual hubs, and we'll chat a little bit more about that in a second. But first off, Zabar's right here, a neighborhood institution, a specialty grocery store. It first opened in 1934, starting as kind of a modest grocer and coffee shop, and now 80 years later, Zabar's spans almost the entire block. Massive grocery store, more than one story, filled with deli meat and smoked fish and bagels and a lot of other New York classics. It's been featured in movies like You've Got Mail. He's going to come in right behind us. I'm going to move over here. Featured in movies like You've Got Mail and Manhattan. A great place to get an authentic New York bagel topped with smoked fish. I thought he was coming in behind us, but he stopped. All right, back out into the sunshine on this beautiful day.
Yeah.
And I think we can make it. We can cross over Broadway. We've got the light. So all of our friends watching us on YouTube right now, stay with us. And don't get left behind as the light is in our favor right now. So we're crossing Broadway, and we're going to continue south. And I mentioned that the Upper West Side is a bit of a cultural and an educational hub. So we have lots of schools and museums up here, in addition to a lot of the residences that we'll be talking about. Columbia University is up here. Barnard is up here. And they're just a little bit north of where we're at right now. The American Museum of Natural History is up here. The New York Historical Society, Lincoln Center of the Performing Arts. So it's a vibrant, energetic neighborhood, the Upper West Side. Very, very exciting.
I just want to point out one of our classic newsstands here on the Upper West Side. You know, we have the old green newsstands that New York used to have years ago. Now these are our fancy new newsstands. Anybody that's been to New York decades ago, you won't recognize these newsstands now. They look fancy and new.
Oh, all fancy. That's a fancy newsstand. Shall I chat about the Apthorp?
Yeah.
All right. So that massive building you're seeing across the street there is the Apthorp. It was designed by architects Clinton and Russell for William Waldorf Astor. It was built between 1906 and 1908, and it occupies a full city block between Broadway, West End Ave, and West 78th and 79th Streets.
Yeah, beautiful building.
Really is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
stunning.
it's just gorgeous. And
a little bit on the detail.
yeah, why not? With that blue sky behind it. It's built around a large interior courtyard, and it was indeed designated a New York City landmark in 1969, added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1978. It's named for Charles Ward Apthorp, who owned Apthorp Farm, which encompassed about 300 acres up here, about 1.2 square kilometers, in this part of Manhattan in the early 18th century. Notable residents there: Nora Ephron, George Balanchine, Al Pacino, Conan O'Brien, Jennifer Hudson, Cyndi Lauper, Bob Balaban, Rosie O'Donnell, Lena Horne, but not Aaron and Patrick.
No, not yet. Those apartments there will cost you a pretty penny. You have to. We looked up several of them. They range anywhere from about a little over $1 million, and we saw one as pricey as $10 million. So, yeah, you got to have a quick mill in your bank account at least to acquire one of these beautiful apartments. It has a beautiful courtyard in the middle of that building too, in the center of it. We'll kind of sneak peek as we walk by it. But for now, we're going to turn here.
We're just going to mosey over and show off a bar and a Banksy. How about that for some alliteration? So up ahead, you'll see the Dublin House sign, neon sign up there. So they claim to serve the freshest Guinness on tap in the city. They opened during the Prohibition era of the 20s by the Caraway family, and they've been officially operating as a pub since 1933. And the Irish owned and operated pub has been around for, what is that? Almost 100 years now, basically. Yeah. They were oftentimes the first thing sailors would see when they docked at the boat basin. The boat basin was to our backs right now over on the Hudson River. So they would dock, come right up the hill, and boom, the Dublin House. And, get a fresh pint. Why not?
Absolutely. Wet your whistle.
Now, right next to the Dublin House, you're going to see an original Banksy right here, known as Hammer Boy. It depicts a child playing the high striker or strongman game commonly found at carnivals. Now, Banksy, the artist, his website is silent as to the meaning or the purpose, but just kind of presents a photograph of the work. And an individual did try to deface it at one point in time, so it is covered up now to protect it, which is a great thing. If you don't know, Banksy is an English-based street artist, political activist, and film director whose real name and identity remain unconfirmed and a major topic of speculation. Shall we go back to Broadway?
Yeah, let's do it. I love Broadway.
I know, me too. So we're going to head back on this sunny, beautiful day and walk south. And as we head south, I want to talk about the development of the Upper West Side. We're going to have to wait for the light, everybody. So stay with us while we wait for the light. And, the church.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Let's talk about the church.
I'll chat about the church. Should we chat about the church?
Let's chat about the church. It's so well lit right now.
That's the first Baptist church. It was built in 1894 by architect George Keister, who also did the Apollo Theater in Harlem. It's in the Italian Romanesque Revival style. The congregation actually built its first house of worship on Gold Street in Lower Manhattan in the early 18th century. But in the 1890s, they settled into this site in the heart of this neighborhood, developing along Broadway. We'll chat about that development in just a second. And there was already talk about the subway coming up to this area with a stop at 79th Street, which is what we're crossing right now. And it kind of made sense with this area developing that the church would kind of move to this area. The access of the church sits at a 45-degree angle so that it embraces the Broadway intersection right here and kind of maximizes that interior auditorium space. And the facade includes some biblical symbolism. You can see how the two towers are different sizes up there, or different heights, I should say. So the taller of the two unequal towers represents Jesus Christ as the head of the church, and the lower, kind of seemingly incomplete tower represents the church which remains unfulfilled until Christ returns again. There's a lot of more symbolism about the facade of that church that you can look up if you want to know more.
It's so beautifully lit right now. Thank you, lighting department.
Yeah, we hired a great team today for our tour, and they're helping us out. Beautiful flowers ready to be purchased at the florist to our left, presumably for some folks who want to decorate their balconies as spring is starting to hit us. It's early April right now. And I mentioned the development of the Upper West Side. So We talked about the Apthorp, and it's just one of the many luxury apartment buildings that crept up on the Upper West Side. The Dakota, the San Remo, the Ansonia, the Beresford, the El Dorado, among many others.
Just while we're in this one spot, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see a tiny bit of the courtyard there inside the Apthorp building. So that building takes up the whole city block, and there's a beautiful courtyard in the center of that building that all of those residents get to enjoy.
Jealous.
Yeah, completely.
Now, originally, the Upper West Side would have been the location of the villages Harsonville and Bloomingdale, and this area was essentially open country in the 18th century, dotted with kind of farms and countrysides, country estates. Now, this all would have been original. The Lenape tribe would have been the original residents in this area, but as the city was kind of developed, that's what we would have seen creeping up in the early 18th century. And by the early 20th century, the area was framed by Riverside Park and Central Park, and we would have seen brownstones being constructed all over, and we'll chat some more about brownstones in just a little bit. And we would have seen all these luxury high-rises coming into view as well. So that's kind of the rough development of the Upper West Side. And speaking of these luxury high-rises, the next thing we want to point out is the Hotel Belclair. You can see right here on the corner, it's one of Manhattan's oldest luxury hotels, debuted in 1903, and it's in the Beaux-Arts style architecture with a little bit of Art Nouveau as well in there.
Oh, that's a stunning, stunning building. That Beaux-Arts style, it just shows so well here in the city.
Now, this was designed by legendary architect Emery Roth, who also did the Beresford, El Dorado, and the San Remo, in addition to some other buildings. You can see some brick and limestone facade all over there. It's been brilliantly restored over the years. And this was once home to writers Mark Twain and Maxim Gorky, as well as a residence for Babe Ruth. And it used to be a residence hotel. It has since been renovated, I think, in around 2008 to be an actual hotel at this point.
Look at that beautifully classic entrance there to the hotel. I love it. The Belclair. All right. Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's continue on downtown. So again, we're walking south on this sunny April day, walking along Broadway. We have to wait for the light. It's not our friend right now, but it'll change. So you get another shot of the Belclair. By the way, the Belclair also has a couple free walking tours that leave out of it. So if you're staying at the Belclair, they've got some free journeys right there, which is great. A little bit of classic New York City scaffolding as we make our way down here as well.
Classic New York scaffolding. What would New York be without scaffolding? I don't know if people would recognize this.
Be naked. Yeah, there would be absolutely nothing.
Scaffolding is just fancy clothes for New York City.
Yeah, and some of it's nicer than others. Some has lights and some doesn't, and true. That's just how it is. I love this building right here. It's now the Women's Project Theater. It's been a few different theaters over the years. It was built as Manhattan Towers in 1929, but kind of a Gothic style there.
Yeah, really cool building.
Also, obviously, designed within reach. Furniture store there as well.
Gorgeous building, though.
Yeah.
It's nice that it's been repurposed. I love it when they don't just get rid of old buildings, they repurpose them and keep them around so that we still get to enjoy the beautiful architecture 100 years later.
We got this light. We can do it.
Yeah, we got it.
Everybody, stay with us.
Stay with us, YouTube viewers. Come on.
Here we go. All right. What's an AMP adventure without racing to try to make a light?
I guess so.
Now, at the next block, we'll be at 75th Street, and we're just going to show you to the left the San Remo. The San Remo is a luxury apartment building, 27 stories, built in 1930. And it's one of the classic luxury apartment buildings on the Upper West Side. It's kind of iconic, got an iconic look that you'll see in a lot of different movies and TV shows. And Emery Roth, who we were just talking about, who did the Belclair, Hotel Belclair, also did the San Remo. So we're just going to look to our left right now here at 75th Street and show off the San Remo.
We'll come out here and then we'll do a zoom in a little bit so you can see the San Remo there in the distance. Who are some of the residents of the San Remo?
Over the years, Barry Manilow, Tiger Woods, Steven Spielberg. Glenn Close, Dustin Hoffman, Bruce Willis. You know who wasn't?
No, who?
Madonna. The co-op board said Madonta. They said, you may not live in our material world.
Oh, sorry, New York sirens.
The sounds of New York.
The dulcet, sweet, quieting sounds of New York City and sirens.
I think we can make it. So, continuing south on our sunny walk on the Upper West Side, everybody. We're next walking under the entrance to the Hotel Beacon and the Beacon Theater. Now, the Beacon opened in 1929. It was developed by Samuel Roxy Rothafel, built as a movie palace. Almost 3,000 seats, about 2,800. It looks like they're having possibly a graduation ceremony here today, I'm guessing.
A lot of young graduates hanging out.
It was designed by Walter Allschlager, who also did the Peabody Hotel in Memphis, famous for the ducks.
We'll pass the marquee here and then turn around so to show you a nice shot of the Beacon. I feel like the Allman Brothers used to play at the Beacon like every year.
I think you're right.
A couple of times a year.
I think they still do. I've been seeing them.
So if you can look past the scaffolding here, you get to see the really cool and historic Beacon marquee here. I mean, it's been redone with the digital sign, but if I zoom in a little bit, I don't want to get too close to the people, but you can see that really cool ticket booth, that old, beautiful ticket booth there too.
Now, I should say that this is not one of our Broadway theaters. This is where you will find concerts and events, for example, this graduation that seems to be happening today. But it's not where you would see the Broadway shows. Those would be down more in the Times Square Midtown area.
Your entrance is around the corner.
So we're going to turn left here and talk about the Apple Bank right here on the corner. So the Apple Bank was constructed as a branch of the Central Savings Bank, now the Apple Bank for Savings, from 1926 to 1928. It was designed by York and Sawyer in the Renaissance Revival and Palazzo styles. And interestingly enough, in 2006, the 7 upper stories were converted into residential condominiums known as the Apple Bank Condo. Where do you live? In a bank.
Yeah.
In an Apple Bank.
Really cool building. If you find yourself on the Upper West Side with some extra time, take a step. If you're within banking hours, take a step inside this bank because it is just a stunning piece of art. The room, this beautiful, beautiful room that you walk into. But what a fancy way to do all of your banking, to walk into such a nice building.
You could bank in your PJs.
Well, I guess you could. I feel like that would take a little bit of the class out of it.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, we're going to cross Amsterdam. We're headed east right now, by the way. We turned left on 74th Street, and we're headed east, and we're going to cross Amsterdam, and we're going to show off one of our favorite bakeries over here, which is Levain Bakery, known for its softball-sized cookies. It opened in 1995. We're not there yet, by the way. I'll just chat about it as we make our way over to it. We'll wait for the light. So the two founders of the bakery... actually, they were training for an Ironman triathlon, and they developed the signature cookie as a way to have a large number of calories to offset the rigors of the training. And they decided on a traditional chocolate chip cookie for those calories, but bigger, much, much bigger than the traditional cookie that we know of. Again, it's basically softball size, these cookies, 6 ounces. They have a chocolate chip walnut cookie, they have double chocolate chip, they have chocolate cookie with peanut butter chips, and they have an oatmeal raisin, and they started doing some seasonal ones recently as well. What do you want to do? Do you want to go down and chat about some brownstones?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So brownstones are oftentimes synonymous with New York City. And believe it or not, only a small part of a brownstone townhouse or row house is actually built of the brownstone. Actually, a townhouse would be built with brick and then have an added veneer of the brownstone. Because as a building material, brownstone itself is quite unreliable. It's soft. It can easily crack or crumble. It's again like it's like a type of sandstone. And interestingly enough, when it's first cut, it's actually not brown. It's actually kind of pink, but it deepens into the classic brown hue that we know once it's been exposed to air. Those brownstone facades often need to be restored over time because of weathering. So they do take a lot of care, or need a lot of care, I should say.
I'm just going to hand you the camera because I have to tie my shoe.
Classic New York issues. Our shoes are like our tires of our cars since we walk everywhere. The majority of New York City brownstones, actually, the brownstone itself, comes from the same place, the Portland Brownstone Quarry, formerly located in Portland, Connecticut. So believe it or not, a lot of the brownstone we see all came from that same place. And this really caught on in the 19th century when brownstone became a nice choice building material, and the stone would have been cut in Connecticut. It would have been placed on barges and hauled to the city via the Hudson and the East Rivers, where it would have been unloaded into storage yards along the rivers and then brought in as a building material. Such a classic.
Classic
look.
Upper West Side.
Yeah.
If you could own a brownstone apartment, that would be my favorite. I think whenever I have to decide between a high-rise luxury apartment or a brownstone, I always choose brownstone.
Always?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. You get a little outdoor space.
North side of the street or south side of the street?
I think the south side of the street, so that the back gets nice light and southern exposure.
All right. That sounds good.
That's very specific.
Whole brownstone or a floor of the brownstone?
The whole brownstone. What are you talking
why not?
about?
Why not?
I mean, if money's no object.
Yeah, well, I mean, please. We're doing our videos on YouTube. Money is no object around here. Come on. All right, so we're back to Amsterdam. You're going to see the Apple Bank coming into view again, and we're going to head south on Amsterdam, zigzag a little bit in this area because we have a few things we want to show off. Again, another view of the Apple Bank right there. We can't encourage enough to come and check out the Apple Bank up in this area. Take a step inside. They don't allow photography, but you can certainly go through the revolving doors and check it out.
Enjoy that beautiful room for a minute or two. It's gorgeous.
Again, built between 1926 and 1928, the Apple Bank right there. We're almost to 73rd Street, but before we get to 73rd Street, we want to show off another bakery that we enjoyed that actually opened on the east side, the Upper East Side, in 1946 by William Greenberg. He had just returned from World War II and used his winnings from Army poker games to start the bakery. About $3,000 he had as his winnings. They do have one of the most classic black and white cookies. If you don't know the black and white cookie, it's like a cake-like cookie with a black frosting and a white frosting on top. It's a classic New York City cookie. Kind of a simple cookie, but I won't say no to one.
Oh, absolutely.
At all.
Classic New York sweet treat, a black and white cookie.
It is under new owners now. It's no longer in the Greenberg family, but it still retains the same classic look, same classic tastes, same classic feel, I'm done. That's all I've got.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to pass back over on Amsterdam again and go into Verdi Square. We got the light. That's exciting.
Yeah, let's go over.
Yeah, to Verdi Square?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So we're going to have to do a double light now because we're going to cross Amsterdam and then we'll cross 73rd Street. But you're going to see Verdi Square coming into view. It is named for Italian opera composer Giuseppe Verdi. It has an irregular shape, so it's really not a square. I hate to say, it's more, they should call it Verdi Triangle. But, square in the global sense of the word square, like a meeting place, as it were. Because it really is a triangle, and the reason for that is this is where Broadway kind of dissects through some of the gridded streets, so it creates this triangle here instead of the square. Now, this Verdi monument you're seeing right here, we're seeing the backside of him, but we'll go around to the front as well. This was actually installed in 1906 following a fundraising effort led by newspaper founder Carlo Borsati. And the site around the monument was named for him, thus it's called Verdi Square. And again, erected in 1906, it was sculpted by Pasquale Civiletti, and it measures about 25 3/4 feet, about 7.85 meters tall, and at certain parts of it, it's about 18 feet across, or about 5.5 meters. Now, take note of the statues there at the bottom. Some more dulcet tones of New York City.
We're just waiting for this ambulance truck to swing by, so it's going to be noisy here for a second.
Should we do a pause?
Yeah, let's do a pause.
We're going to do a pause. And we're back. All right, we paused to let the ambulance go by so we wouldn't be affected by the noise. But here we have the statues around the base are from four of Verdi's operas. We have Aida, Otello, Leonora of La Forza, Del Destino, and Falstaff. And the character statues are made of white Carrara marble with large marble lyres placed between them. You can see kind of around their feet there.
Really cool. With that beautiful blue sky in the background.
Yeah.
All right.
And this is where the 72nd Street subway is located. You would catch the 1, 2, or 3 trains here. The 2 and the 3 are the express trains. And that would also be sort of considered the red line. The color of the dots for that particular line is red. Good old classic newsstand here on the right that has since been turned into a little bakery coffee
we
shop.
talked about the newer newsstands. This is, I'm pretty sure this is what one of the old newsstands used to look like, and now it's turned into a little bakery. But this is exactly what you just said, I think. But I love that classic New York newsstand.
Always worth hearing it twice, though.
Oh, yeah.
And at the southern end of it is this really cool lamppost that we just want to point out that I'm sure most New Yorkers pass by every day without even giving it a second glance, but it's this bronze lamppost. Now, it was one of 2 that originally flanked the Fireman's Memorial on Riverside Drive. It was installed here in Verdi Square in 2004, but it dates back to between 1913 and 1935, and it was removed from its original location in the 70s when it was vandalized. But take a look at the detail on it. The lion's head. Look at the hooves right here at the base. I mean, it's truly remarkable the amount of detail that's on this lamppost.
Really cool.
You just don't see that kind of work
New
anymore.
Yorkers pass by it every day and never even notice it.
Now, something that we do notice, Gray's Papaya. How can you miss Gray's Papaya?
Oh, yeah.
So it is an institution. It was founded in 1973. It's famous for the inexpensive hot dogs that once sold for 50 cents. I think now they're up to $2.75. I think that's what it's up right now. And we're going to do another pause while we let the ambulance pass. All right, we're back, and there's Gray's Papaya again, 1973. And again, it started with 50-cent hot dogs. Actually, I think they might be $2.95 now. I think I lied and said $2.75, but I think it's $2.95.
That's the Subway.
I'll give you the extra 20 cents for that right there.
If you really want a Gray's Papaya hot dog, for sure.
I should say, by the way, that the name papaya in the title comes from a fruit drink that they sell in the establishment. So that's where they get the name of papaya in Gray's Papaya. So we're just going to head south here to 71st Street because we want to show off one more of our favorite luxury apartment buildings.
I just quickly want to interrupt. New York is getting better and better at adding bike lanes. You know, we never used to have bike lanes. We were really behind other cities around the country until, I would say, in the last 10 or 15 years, we've added more and more bike lanes. So we really are getting better at the bike lanes. And of course, there's another classic green New York newsstand. But I'm going to turn around and show you a 72nd Street subway.
Sure, yeah. So this is one of the classic subway entrances, opened October 27th, 1904. One of the original 28 stations that was part of the original New York City subway. And it is part of the Landmarks Preservation Commission. They designated this a city landmark January 1979. Again, they don't make them like that anymore either.
They sure don't.
We don't have that kind of detail on our subways anymore. We're a little bit right out at the end of school hours, so kids are just getting out of school. So you might be hearing lots of young ones running around us because school just got out for the day, and it's a beautiful day, so they're all enjoying it. Speaking of beautiful days, look at how the light is hitting the Doralton right here. This was built between 1900 and 1902, 12-story luxury apartment building. It was designed by Janes and Leo, New York City-based architectural firm. And it was built for real estate developer Hamilton Weed. It's in the Beaux-Arts style, and we've got a blend of limestone and brick as well. And this was designated a New York City landmark, 1974. And it was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1983.
I love this building. I think this might potentially be my favorite Upper West Side building, even more than the Dakota, I think.
So we're going to buy an apartment here. That's what I'm hearing?
Well, yes. We certainly could if we had a few million in the bank.
Oh.
We could buy an apartment here.
So we're not buying an apartment here. Is that what I'm hearing?
There is. We did look up some of the prices here. We did find one of the top floor luxury apartments that had a beautiful glass skylights, windows on there on the top of the building. I think that one was 7.8 million. But
I got that in my wallet right now.
in your wallet? Wow, you have a big wallet.
Oh, it's on my card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I want to show this side of the building too, because there's that beautiful archway in the front of the building. It's just a stunning Beaux-Arts style building here on the Upper West Side. All right.
So we head back to 72nd Street now?
Yeah, let's do it.
You're going to get another glimpse of the subway station as we make our... You want to go for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go for it. Everybody stay with us. No YouTube fan left behind on an AMP adventure. We made it. So you'll get another glimpse of the subway entrance as we make our way north up here to 72nd Street. And then we're going to head west over towards Riverside Park. Hi! And ever hear a horn honk on one of our tours, it means someone's saying hi to AMP Adventures and all of our friends and fans.
Talk about making lemonade. Anytime a horn honks, we just wave and pretend like they're saying hi.
Yeah, absolutely. So now why do we see all these luxury apartment buildings pop up? Here's another glimpse of the Ansonia, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Did we even chat about the Ansonia?
I don't think we didn't chat about it. We should walk up
We
there.
should walk back.
Yeah.
You want to go for this light?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, everybody, stay with us.
Yeah.
Because I skipped the
Stay in
Ansonia.
line, everybody.
How did we do that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm so sorry, everybody. But we're going to go around the subway entrance, and we'll grab the Ansonia and chat about that a little bit. Another one of our classic luxury apartment buildings up here. It's going to be a 17-story structure that you're going to see coming into view, lit so beautifully today, designed by French architect Paul-Émile Dubois. And it's in the Beaux-Arts style. It was built between 1899 and 1903 as a residential hotel by William Earl Dodge Stokes, named it after his grandfather, the industrialist Anson Green Phelps. It is a New York City landmark and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Now, that facade that you're seeing is a mixture of limestone, granite, white brick, and terracotta. Notable tenants, not Aaron and Patrick.
Yeah, you'll need a quick million at least to get in here.
But Florence Ziegfeld, Igor Stravinsky, Angelina Jolie, Richard Dreyfuss, Sarah Bernhardt all have been residents here at one point in time.
I love this green, those side apartments. I'd love to have one of those apartments. I
Okay.
wonder how much those are.
I don't know.
My gosh.
Definitely.
It's a beautiful building, though.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous. What would you like to do? You want to cross Broadway and walk
Let's
down?
cross and go down, yeah.
Okay. Well, while we cross, I'll give another story about the Ansonia. So, in 1919, a handful of Chicago White Sox players actually met in the then first baseman Chick Gandil's room at the hotel, and they agreed to team up with some gamblers and throw the World Series against the Cincinnati Reds. So that fix has since been dubbed the infamous Black Sox Scandal. It's been featured in literature and films like The Great Gatsby, 8 Men Out, Field of Dreams.
All right here in this building.
Yeah, the Black Sox Scandal. All right, continuing down Broadway, we're going to go down here to 72nd Street, and now we're going to head west since we completely skipped the Ansonia before. Where was our brain? I think we were thrown by the graduation happening at the Beacon.
I think we were.
But it was nice to celebrate some graduates by all means. So the subway was a large reason that we saw the Upper West Side start to develop. 1904 was when the subway came about, and it provided an easier access to the Upper West Side, and it started to become a popular destination for the city's elite. We started to see these luxury apartment buildings creep up, and it kind of gave the city this character up here, this new character. And what we would have seen was that along West End Avenue, which we're going to be passing up here, we would have seen the more quieter residences. Columbus Avenue, which is a couple blocks to our back, that's where we would have seen more of the businesses. Amsterdam Avenue, which we crossed just a little bit ago, is where we would have had the more inexpensive apartments. And Riverside Drive was kind of the center of elegance. We'll be ending over by Riverside Drive today. Why? Because we're the center of elegance.
I mean, I'd say it's still kind of like that today, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think the original idea behind those three avenues they still hold true.
Yeah. We're going to zoom in on a little bit more of the brownstone. And that really, keep in mind, by the mid-19th century, when these row houses were being built, brownstone that you're seeing right here was kind of this happy marriage of two popular worlds at the time. So Americans were obsessed with the ideals of romanticism, romantic classicism, which was kind of like the artist's movement of the adoration of nature, and brownstone was that sort of a nature feel to it with that sandstone look. And then also the Industrial Revolution was happening, which had powered machines, which let laborers cut and shape brownstone faster and more cheaply than ever before, making it quite affordable. And so, and again, it had these organic hues that kind of were reminiscent of the beauty and the power of the wild. So we get this good mixture of those two worlds. It's this happy marriage of those two popular worlds at the time. So for middle-class townhouse and row house owners, who wanted kind of a taste of luxury, brownstone was the way to go. For little money and for far less than what it would cost with limestone or granite or marble, they could have kind of a 6-inch brownstone facade or veneer, complete with a stoop, a rising staircase, and whatever lovely carved accoutrements they desired. Really beautiful.
Yeah.
And so classically Upper West Side.
Absolutely.
I think we might be able to go behind this van to talk about the Sugar Bar, the Ashford and Simpson Sugar Bar, established in 1996 by Nicholas Ashford and Valerie Simpson, also known as Ashford and Simpson, two of the most popular composers and producers of our time. They wrote Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing and Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And it's decorated inside with African artifacts that are kind of meant to give you a feel of like a hidden village in the middle of the Upper West Side. They have Southern-style cooking, and they have live entertainment as well. If you're walking by, you can even see on the board right here who's playing this week and who's coming up in the next couple of weeks here at the Sugar Bar. I hope they have really good sweets at the Sugar Bar.
Oh, they should. That's a shame if they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I also want to point out that the buildings underneath, over the Sugar Bar rather, these beautiful Gothic-style buildings. That, you know, they changed the facade in the bottom to create these businesses down here, but you can see the remnants of those original buildings here on 72nd Street that were so beautiful. I think there's probably zoning laws and different things now that stop them. Should we?
No, I say we keep going.
All right.
This fire truck's going to go by us, but we're just going to... Oh, I think they're going to pull over right here. Classic FDNY. I hope it's not. Maybe this tour is so lit it's on fire. And the FDNY has come over to douse us, put us out.
I guess so.
But we're actually going to cross the street away from the FDNY and talk about this building on the corner as we cross the street, and then make our way over to Riverside Park. This is 271 West 72nd Street. It's by architect Gilbert Schellinger. And originally this was constructed as a single-family home. Can you imagine? That's your home, and you own all of it. No longer is the case, but it's kind of got Romanesque revival looks to it with some alterations. We're going to have another fire department going by us
I know. I feel like
well.
There's been lots of action today on our tour.
Well, it's because our tour is so lit.
That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But once that fire department goes by, we're going to make our way over to Riverside Park, and we're going to end our tour over there where we show off a very popular memorial that's over there. And I'll talk about Riverside Park as we make our way over there and go under some beautiful scaffolding, of course. Do we have the light? We got it, the light, everybody. So Riverside Park actually stretches along about 4 miles or about of the Hudson River. So it's a good little jaunt of the Hudson River. It's about 191 acres or 77 hectares. And you might recognize this park from a lot of TV or films. It's been featured in 30 Rock, Friends, Seinfeld, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, You've Got Mail. It was first designed by Frederick Law Olmsted, who was one of the two designers of Central Park. And that was about in the late 1800s that happened. And before its completion, a lot of other designers kind of started to help modify it to what it is today. So it wasn't the original plans, but it started off with Olmsted. They kept his original plan that kind of curves along the river. And I neglected to say that I mentioned some of the stuff that filmed in Riverside Park, but the Upper West Side is used for a lot of other filming as well. It's been used for the movies Black Swan, Ghostbusters, Hannah and Her Sisters, Fatal Attraction, You've Got Mail, lots of classic silver screen.
Not to mention all of the television shows that use New York City.
Yeah. Now we're going to cross over here, and lit so perfectly is Eleanor Roosevelt, this Eleanor Roosevelt Memorial. She was an American diplomat, activist, and delegate to the United Nations, wife of the 32nd U.S. President, President Franklin D. Roosevelt, also our longest serving First Lady from 33 to 45. She's quite widely celebrated now, but she was very controversial during her time because she was outspoken and held radical opinions. She would hold regular press conferences and contributed to a newspaper column. And even after FDR's passing, she continued to maintain an active political career. This monument was dedicated in 1996, and it's the first monument recognizing a U.S. First Lady here in New York City.
Really cool.
Really is. And we're at the end of our tour today. We really hope that you all enjoy walking around the Upper West Side with us today on this sunny, beautiful April day.
Couldn't ask for a better spring day for a tour.
Please check out the rest of our videos. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a comment.
Yeah, any and all of the above.
Yeah.
Like us, subscribe, comment. A&P Adventures. We are excited to continue adventuring through New York City and beyond.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.